Hello, hi, and welcome to EmpathicFire. I am your reader, Jay. These are going to be general messages for Scorpio in the month of August 2018. Hello, Scorpio. How are you guys doing? I hope you guys are doing well. Yeah, you guys know the drill. If you're a returning viewer, you know what this deal is. If you're a new viewer, this is your main spread. What I'm going to do now is shuffle for your outcome, and then the bottom of the deck will be your overall energy. And once all the cards are laid out, and I flip them all over. Then we'll begin the reading. You'll find the timestamp for when that moment actually occurs in the description box below. And let's go ahead and get your outcome for August, Scorpio. And I have to say, I was shuffling for a long time, a very long time to get your main spread, Scorpio. And we'll see how long it takes us to get the outcome, huh? Oh, there it is. Not too long. There that is. And again, the bottom of the deck is the overall energy for the reading. Flip your remaining cards. And let's see what's going on. Let's see what's shaking, right? Okay. Scorpio in the month of August. Please show me where Scorpio is for August. Here, okay. Alright, Scorpio, so coming into August, you come in as the Four of Cups. Not feeling particularly inspired, not feeling particularly open to certain offers or opportunities, or you're not recognizing offers and opportunities that might be around you. So that could be coming from a person, that could just be circumstantial. And it just could be energetically. Your energy might just be really low, like you're kind of not feeling as open and communal with people. You know, the Four of Cups definitely is about, you know, rejecting an offer or not recognizing an offer. But to me, it's also an energy, or at this moment, it's feeling like just not being open, just not being wanting to be around. For some of you, not wanting to be around other people. You kind of just want to be to yourself. You want to kind of revert into your own space and get your kicks and feel contented on your own. Like, I feel like a lot of you are like over other people. Like, I don't want to hang out. I don't want to talk. I don't want to socialize too much. You know, I think you're doing the bare minimum. I think you're doing what is required of you. So when you go to work, you're saying hello, you're exchanging pleasantries, but you're really not standing at the water cooler, or, you know, going over to somebody's office and like, spending 10 minutes, you know, hearing about what they did over the weekend. You're really just like, that's enough. I don't want to speak to you anymore about this, or I don't want to speak to you anymore, period. And it's not as if you're rejecting a specific person. It's like, no, everybody shut up. Everybody leave me alone. Everybody get away from me. Like, I just want to be by myself. And I don't want to feel obligated. Okay, thank you. A lot of you are in positions where you feel obligated to have to entertain. Okay, thank you. Entertain other people, or deal with other people in a way that you just don't want to. You know, outside of the pleasantries, outside of a hi and a goodbye, and, you know, how are you doing? And you get the blanket statement of, oh, I'm doing good. How are you? You know, outside of that, you really don't want any more in terms of communication. Now, of course, this is the Five of Cups, so it's not a sword suit as far as communication, because I did just say communication. And you might think, oh, Four of Swords, or we think of the sword suit, as involving communications. But right now, this is like really, like I said, a communal energy. You might have some established relationships with those Three Cups there in the foreground of the card there. So you might have some established relationships that you might prioritize, that you might be working on, or making sure that you're touching base with people, making sure that you're giving care and concern towards a certain group of people. So that might be your spouse, your children, your partner, your business partners, whoever. Like, you're checking in with other people and you're allowing certain communication in. But as far as like getting with new people, as far as like again, like going out and socializing if you don't have to. It's just not, you're not in the mood. You're just not in the mood, Scorpio. Just like, whatever. And I feel like this is like stemming from what you have perceived to be already like a missed opportunity, already like you've missed a chance, or you missed a certain window of time, or you feel like your luck has sort of run out, or making a significant change, or walking through a door of opportunity is like not available to you anymore, because you got these three cards here that corner the Four of Cups, and they're all reversed. And anytime an energy is reversed, it's usually going to show some type of blockage, some type of delay, a stop, a situation is on pause, or just it's not happening. It's just not happening. And the one that I'm being drawn to first, I believe here, yeah, the Wheel of Fortune. Okay, thank you. So Wheel of Fortune in reverse. So like I said, an opportunity, a window of time to act on something has passed you by. You feel as though your luck is running out. Since it is the Wheel of Fortune, there is like that overtone of fortune and luck and being almost serendipitous in some ways. And when it's in reverse like this, it could be that, quote unquote, the forces or the energy is, quote unquote, like against you. But I think it's more like, I feel like a lot of reflection here and perception. So I'm not sure that this is necessarily 100% your reality. I think part of it might be, Scorpio, is you're projecting something, or you're it's not that you're making a big deal out of it. It's more of like you're like reminiscing on something, or you're not able to let go of a missed opportunity. I mean, and those happen in life all the time. I'm not trying to, and me saying that is not to diminish your experience or to make it seem like, you're being over the top about something. No. But what I'm saying is, because opportunities come into our lives fairly regularly, almost to the point of clockwork, does it help you in the long run to spend a significant amount of time and energy reflecting on what you perceive to be a missed opportunity, or a chance gone by, or that you weren't lucky in a specific situation, or a circumstance didn't pan out the way that you were really hoping that it would? So in the Wheel of Fortune combined with the Four of Cups, I'm feeling like this sort of like, woe is me, I'm down on my luck, I don't have there's no upside to the situation that I'm in, there's no chance that I can rectify a situation or get back to having a certain circumstance turn out in my favor. So it's a lot of like downtrodden thought that's going on here. And thought and emotions are very closely linked together. They can sometimes get muddled. So I think it's a combination of like you're consciously thinking this, and then like you're subconsciously feeling this. Like some of you are feeling like Charlie Brown or something. Like no matter what you do, life, aka Lucy, is always going to move that football away the moment you try to punt it. The moment you try to kick that football, life is just going to yank it out from in front of you, and you're going to, tumble up into the air and fall flat on your back. So I think, and the Wheel of Fortune is about lessons. It's you might be finding yourself like sort of going in cycles, Scorpio, repeating lessons or repeating certain situations, or like you feel like you've been down this road before and it just never works out for you. And that might be the case, but I would say the point of repeating any pattern in your life that you see repeating, that you can point to and say, that happened 5 years ago, and then before that it was like another 2 years before that, and then there was another time, it was like 8 years before that, and you can clock you know, these patterns, and you can clock how similar the situations are or the people are that you were dealing with at those different times. If you can sit there and say, all of these things are comparable, all of these things are very similar, there's a lesson there that you haven't yet attained, you haven't yet completed. And your challenge would be to figure out what it is you need to understand about yourself, primarily, what you need to understand about the people that you magnetize towards yourself, that are drawn to your energy, that are drawn to your disposition and your personality, or the situations that you find yourself in that involve certain people. So it's like you really have to kind of analyze the cast of characters that you come across. You have to analyze the settings and the locations and the timing and all that stuff. You really have to do your homework, Scorpio, and figure out what's the underlying theme here, what's the underlying connective tissue here, and then decide what to do when you find out what it is. So if you're finding yourself dating the same types of people, I'm not feeling this in any particular area, but I'm just going to use dating as an example. So let's say you keep dating the same type of guy or girl, and it starts out nice, and then eventually it gets kind of dull or stale, or it gets contentious or whatever, and then there's a breakup. Like, that has been the pattern of like your past 3 or 4 relationships. It's great in the beginning, and then things get kind of boring or stale and predictable, and then it just inevitably you end up breaking up with them. Let's just say that's your thing. So what does that mean? You bring newness into your life. The beginning, the amorous, very puppy dog stage of the relationship, because that's how it is when you meet any new person that you're interested in dating. It's new and exciting, blah, blah, blah. But then at some point things get predictable and boring. In your estimation, predictable and boring. And then that leads to you feeling like, ugh, this isn't going anywhere. I'm not excited to be with this person. We do the same things every weekend, blah, 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 blah. And all right, I can't see myself with this person anymore, you know, and then you end it. So the repeating pattern there, just in this very bland example, it's very base level, this example, it's nothing deep, right? But the underlying theme there is that you're with a boring person. That doesn't mean that you, how can I say this? That doesn't mean like they're terrible, right? If someone's boring. Because what's another way of saying boring? Or what's another way of saying we do the same things every week? Or, you know, our relationship is so predictable. To someone else, that equals stability. That equals security. That equals whatever, right? So to another person, that is a gold mine of a person, or that's a great quality in a person to have. To you, it's boring, it's stale, it's not exciting, all of that stuff. So then what does that mean? Maybe you need someone who's a little bit more rambunctious, a little bit more spontaneous. You need someone who, you know, kind of doesn't put down roots. Now, that's an interesting example because, Scorpio, you're a fixed sign, so I'm going to assume you kind of like a little bit of stability. And just knowing how you are, you're kind of possessive sometimes. Not all the time, but sometimes. And so that... the opposite might be true. You might be like, I want stability. I want somebody to sit home with me every Friday night and just like, you know, that might be what you want. So instead of thinking of the person in their negative qualities, like they're boring, they're predictable, instead of thinking of the negative qualities, you might try to think of what those positive qualities are and realize that's what you don't want. So boring, predictable equals stability and security if you look at it from another perspective. Therefore, maybe you want someone, this is just an example, of course, who doesn't have like a steady track record in terms of their work. So maybe you want an artist, okay? Maybe you want someone who works in the art field or the music field, things like that, where, yeah, it can bring home the bacon sometimes. It does provide them living. They can afford their own lifestyle. But the actual, like, 9-to-5 gig is not their thing, right? Stability. Right, so that would be stability. Thank you. So security. So maybe you're also wanting someone who's, like, diversified, like, in terms of their finances. So maybe not even an artistic person. Maybe you want someone who's like a handyman. You know, those people, not to knock them or anything like that, but many of those people, you know, they get paid under the table, or they get paid per project that they work on, or they get paid. However, it's like they're not getting a check. They're not, you know, building on a 401k. They probably don't have health insurance. And again, that's not a knock. It's just a way to think about the qualities of a person. And I hope that makes sense. Like, analyze what you've had, then turn it to a perspective that you don't have to understand what you want. I hope that makes sense. I hope you followed that. But that's what I think is going on here. I think that life, Saturn, the universe, God, whatever you think of, whoever you feel might administer the tests that you feel you've been put up to, whoever's doing it or whatever's doing it, you kind of have to view it from that that bigger picture. You have to stop taking such a microscopic view and thinking it is your lot in life. You're just unlucky. You will never have someone in your life. Again, sticking with the romance thing. This could be business. This could be your personal life. This could be your personal development, whatever. But you got to go from a micro way of looking to a macro way of looking, a bigger picture, a wider scope, okay? And I think these two cards have kind of influenced this central part where, like I said, you're just not open, you know? The Fool card in reverse. You're not open. You're not you're not skipping off of a cliff. You're not taking risks. You're not wanting to be happy-go-lucky. You just don't believe you are, or you're not feeling inspired to roll the dice, to take the chance, to take the leap. You're just like, no. Some of you are afraid. This is a fear-based thing. You're very afraid of what you might lose because you feel that you've lost something before, or you feel you've come up short before, or something didn't pan out and reward you what you felt that you should be rewarded, something like that. And for others of you, it's not about fear. It's more of like, what is it? Again, what is it? It's not about fear, it's about skepticism. Thank you. Skepticism. Like, you don't believe, like I said here, you don't believe luck's on your side. Therefore, why would I take a risk? That would be foolish. Because when you take a risk and you take leaps of faith and you kind of just roll the dice and see what happens, you kind of have to believe somewhere inside of you that things can go in your favor and that you can get a benefit from taking the risk. That involves some aspect of luck or fortune or just being favorable or having life or God or the universe smile down upon you and say, "You've done well, my child, here you go." You know, some of you are skeptical of that because of how much bad luck you've had, or how many situations that didn't go the way that you felt that they should, or that you wanted them to, the way you hoped they would, the way you prayed they would, all of that stuff. You're like, well, that proves it. I feel like some of you are like, you feel as if you were like doing like an experiment, and you're like, well, the results show I'm not a lucky person. I'm not somebody who is being looked after by the higher ups. I just need to quit while I'm ahead and stop taking risks, stop reaching out and hoping for the best. I just need to shut it down. Just shut it all down, okay? And again, Scorpio, I'm not sure that that's the answer. I think this is what you feel. I think that you feel comfortable in this space because as a water sign, you would definitely be defensive. I shouldn't say that. I'm not defensive, but like one of the water signs' biggest coping mechanisms is to internalize what's going on, or excuse me, move into an internal space in order to protect themselves. Right? The shell goes into its crab. The shell. Wow, the crab, Cancer, the crab goes into its shell. The fish, the Pisces, they swim away. Right? This situation's crap. I'm gonna go away from it. Like they bounce. They ghost. They're done. right? And Scorpio, you normally will stay in the fray. You'll stay in the situation or the circumstances. You'll deal with it. But as you know, your stinger goes up, and that stinger is there to protect you. It's not that you're predatorial. It's not that you're stalking another animal or some prey and you're like, I'm gonna sting you, here I come. It's like, no, you feel as if you're backed into a corner, or you're being put inside of a box, or you're just in a situation that has no escape, that has no release for you. And so if you get pushed, you put on the defensive stance and you sting. You know, your defense is more of an offense, right? So I think what you are doing is you're in that pre-defensive mode, where the Scorpio or the Scorpion is like, you know, crawling to the corner. And I don't watch like nature videos of scorpions, but I think this is what they do. I think they kind of like back up, right? Don't they back up into like a corner, or they back away? And if something continues, then the stinger shoots out while the scorpion's body is still like retreating. Like I said, your defense is actually offensive, kind of in some ways. And I think that's what you're doing. I think that's what you're projecting. You're kind of, you know, I know you Scorpios. I've known a few of you in my lives, and I adore you guys. And I know the true selves of you guys. You guys are actually very loyal. You're very tender-hearted. Deep down, you're very tender-hearted, right? You're very compassionate, and you are very helpful to other people. You're very considerate of other people. Again, deep down. Like, once you establish a connection with a person and you have a substantial relationship with them, regardless of what type it is, you love that person, you adore them, and you want to do everything you can to help them, and all of that kind of stuff. And what trips you up is not necessarily when those people get in your space and mess around with you. It's like when someone that is just like an associate, like you are friendly with them, you don't really know them, and those people more often make you go on this defensive space. So for some of you, I think this is an issue of your internal space, how you feel about yourself, or how you feel about your life in general, or it's involving people that you know, but you don't know. So again, I'm like a coworker situation, like, you know, you talk to Janet over in marketing, you guys are best friends, but Todd down in marketing, you're like, who is this guy? Who's that guy? Like, why is he stopping by my desk? Like, we never speak, but here he is coming to my desk 2 times, 3 times a week, and I'm like, get out of my face, Todd, I don't know you. You know? So again, you're socializing with Janet, who's a good friend of yours at the workplace, and then Todd is like a hi and bye situation, how you doing, blah, 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 but you really don't want to know about his, you know, vacation to Tampa. Like, shut up, Todd, I don't want to talk to you. Get out of my space, you know? And that's being manifested, or it's being shown with the Queen of Wands energy, right? So Queen of Wands is a compassionate card, is a compassionate energy. She's a fire sign, so Leo, Sagittarius, or Aries, but it doesn't have to be any one of those signs. It's more about the energy of the card. And in her normal upright position, she's compassionate, she cares, but she's also a go-getter and a doer. She's not sitting on her butt. She's out there kicking butt, right? In this position, she's a lot more demonstrative. She's a lot more egocentric. She's a lot more dismissive and I don't want to say cold, because I don't think she would be cold, but she would definitely be a little bitchier, like just a little snippy. There, thank you, snippy, snide, condescending, things like this. So, Scorpio, I think this is a very heavy you situation. I'm not really picking up on much about other people. A lot of this energy is yours, and it's very complex, and it's very convoluted and mixed together, right? It's an amalgamation of many different things. And I think part of you, like I was just describing, is part of you is like really shut down to certain people in your vicinity, in your daily life. You're just like, certain people you can make the time for. Everybody else, get the hell out of my way. I don't want to talk to you. I don't even want to look at you. I don't even want to stop by and give you a polite hello. Like, you'll do it, but it's like irking you to do it. It's like really on your nerves to be dealing with people and like their petty arguments, their petty, you're just like, like she's kind of like that. It's like like I said, she's snide. She's like a snob when she's in this reverse position. Like, I have bigger things to worry about than you, Todd, and your Tampa vacation. Go away. 1 second, Scorpio. Okay, sorry, Scorpio. Sorry about that. But yeah, so the Queen of Wands is like a snob. She's kind of like really snooty, and she thinks she's so much, not that she's so much better than, but she just knows like certain social circles don't overlap. There are certain types of people she doesn't get along with, and she doesn't want to even try to get along with, but she also cares about her social status, and she also cares about saving face and making sure that she still looks like a boss lady. Like, I'm still in charge, I'm still cool, I'm still an independent lady. So she's not going, and I'm saying she a lot only because of the card. If you're a male Scorpio, this applies to you too. But this person is just like, could potentially be like a frenemy type of person, or projecting that energy right now as like a frenemy. Like, I'm gonna be nice to your face, but as soon as you turn around and leave here, ooh, will I say all the things that I really mean about you, okay? So, for lack of a better phrasing, she's kind of two-faced, okay? And again, I feel that's like a defensive position. I think it's because, you know, I think previous to this time, Scorpio, you may have put yourself out there. You may have been more welcoming to people. You may have been more trusting. Some of you might have been more trusting to a certain person or just people in general, and you got burned. You got burned. Things didn't go the way you thought they would. Maybe somebody, I'm getting right here suddenly, maybe some of you lent some money out, and the person ended up being shady, or the person ended up being just a total punk, and they didn't pay you back, or, you know, it's a whole thing to get them to give you back the money that they promised that they would give it back to you. And it's just like a whole thing where now you're like, now I know I can never trust anyone again. So get out of my face, Todd. I don't want to hear about Tampa anymore. Like, you've been talking about it all week. Shut up. You know? And that has nothing to do with anything. Todd isn't coming to you saying, hey, do you have like $50? No, Todd's just like wanting to speak about life and, you know, kill some time after lunch, you know? But because of a certain situation or a certain pattern in your life that keeps turning sour, Scorpio, you're just like, screw everybody. Unless like you're like my ride or die people, the people that are really close to me, my family, my very, very close friends, my children, etc., etc. Unless you're one of those people, stay out of my way, get out of my life, get out of my face, okay? And again, this is all defensive, and it's hiding. Not hiding, but it sort of surrounds, it encompasses this energy that says there's a chance that you can turn things around. There's a chance for you to get what you want, or to see things, not see things necessarily, but experience things differently or whatever. And you're just like, not receptive to any of it. You're just not receptive right now, okay? I think these two cards, what's this? Is this advice? Possibilities, advice, and turnarounds. Okay. So I'm going to say that these two cards, your next two cards, are going to be your advice cards, where if you don't want to be like this, and like with anything else, tarot is temporary, much like any circumstances in life are temporary. Circumstances, and like I said earlier, opportunities, everything comes and goes, ebbs and flows. You know, tide rolls in, tide rolls out. You know, what goes up must come down. Everything is fluctuating in life, right? So this energy of your defensive posture, you've got your stinger out, and you're just, you know, taking every Todd in your life down. Like, get out of my face, get out of my office, don't call me, don't text me. You know, whatever you're doing, that's temporary. You're not going to live like that for the rest of your life, Scorpio. So everything that I said before, you know, take it with a grain of salt. If you want to change quickly, not quickly, but if you want to make a change, get out of that energy proactively, this is what you need to do. So, you have to change some stuff about yourself. Death card, your card of Scorpio. Death is about change, transformation. Death is about releasing what doesn't serve you anymore, what isn't helpful to you anymore, what has dragged you down. Like, a lot of times with death, what I get is like, it's a very strange visual. But a lot of times when I interact with this card and this energy, what I see is like, how can I explain it to you? Death, the agent of death on the horseback, not only is coming, well, not even, comes into town to drag away dead bodies. Now, why am I seeing that? The way I get it, it's like wartime, very, very, very long ago. Wartime in a village. Or wartime, really just about any time, really. And you know how there are mass graves? Or there's just like strewn lost soldiers on a battlefield? That's usually how I look at death. A lot of times when it comes up. Is death is here to, one, interact with the people that are alive. And usually that's a priest and a mourning wife, right? I don't know if you can see that. So it's like a priest figure, there's a wife and a child, and there's a dead body right there between the legs of the horse, right? Or, excuse me, underneath the body of the horse. Right there. See that, okay? And death is there to remove the dead bodies, to remove those cadavers, so to speak. And that is two things. One, it's to take away the shell of the thing that has been lost, the person that was lost, is to remove that. And I think these people are kind of in death's way, in a way, to protest that. Don't take that away. Don't do that. We haven't mourned him, or we haven't mourned the loss of that person, right? But the upswing, or the other side of that coin, is death is doing an amazing service by removing the corpse. It, aside from lacking in mourning, or these people feeling like they haven't had time to mourn, haven't had time to say goodbye, maybe especially with the priest being there, they haven't done some type of religious service, or they haven't, made peace with it, or all that kind of stuff, right? Aside from that, death is like, look, once this visual representation of the person that you knew is removed, you'll be able to move past this. The longer this body stays here, or these bodies, because like I said, in my mind, I see like a massive amount of bodies being moved on by death. When I remove this, the reminder of this, you will then be free. Let me do my job and get this going, so you can get past your pain, you can get past your suffering, and you can then see you can look at life with new eyes, right? So basically, that's a long way to say, Scorpio, that whatever you feel didn't work out in your favor, whatever you're not accepting, that's the dead body in your life. These patterns that keep coming up, those types of people you keep dating, the types of friends that you end up trusting and then they screw you over, all of that pattern is the dead body that you, as the priest, the mourning mother or wife, or the mourning child, is not allowing to be removed from the battlefield. Let life, let God, let whoever, whatever, remove that dead body for you, so that it no longer holds you back. Okay? Say your last goodbyes, get your mourning done, cry, be angry, whatever you need to do, and then allow death to remove the reminders and the memory, in some cases, the memory of this, right? You have to let it go. Death, a lot of times, is transformation that you actively want, and the actual act is letting go. And to me, letting go is usually like a passive act. Like when I conceptualize letting go, it sounds very easy, like that. As opposed to having to grab something, which is more active, like pick that up, that's an active act. Put it down, passive. I hope you understand what I mean there. But in actuality, we all know as human beings, letting go of things is actually very hard. You actually have to work at it. It's not as passive as it might seem when you visualize it or when you actually do it. Like imagine picking up a heavy object. You have to, you got to plant your feet, you got to bend with your legs and all that kind of stuff, or you have to grab the handle a certain way. Like I'm sure we've all like taken groceries into the house and like you put like 8 bags in one hand and you're like, and you carry it into the house. That's heavy. That's hard work. And when you release it, when you let it go, it's like, I did it. You let it go, and it's really easy. In theory, right? Or rather, in practice, it's easy. But when it comes to, like emotional things, your memory, like I said, certain patterns in your life that you feel have let you, or that are key to what has let you down, or prevent you from moving on and being happy, that's really hard to do. Okay? So, going forward, getting out of this energy here is not going to be easy. It's not going to be something that you can snap your fingers and boom, I'm done. Because that's also what it is. When you put something down that's heavy, like physically in your world, the groceries, a box, whatever it is, it's actually pretty easy. Like once it's down, it's like, phew, it's over. And you can walk away from it or put the groceries away. And then, in 10 minutes, you can go sit down and have a beer on the couch. But when we're talking about things that affect your mental health, your physical health, your emotional health, relationships, and your dating patterns and habits and all that kind of stuff, it's a little harder to do. But it has to be done. It has to be done. And once you do that, you get to go out and get on with trying to find what's going to make you happy, what's going to make you feel fulfilled, right? You get to go on some journey. Not necessarily of self-discovery, but for some of you it might involve that. But you get to go on this journey, which is not going to be easy. Like nothing in your reading is easy, Scorpio. If you haven't caught on to that by now, this is not an easy reading for you. This is not going to be a cakewalk. But the purpose is there. I think that this is a purposeful reading. I think it hopefully is affirming to you what you have felt or what you've been thinking about or what you've kind of come to realize, is that you need to, in some cases, walk away from something, walk away from a person, walk away from a situation that isn't serving you, that hasn't helped you. Like that's a part of the letting go process. The release action is to actually get up and leave, walk away, remove yourself from certain social situations, whatever it is. And you might feel alone because this is a journey that a person takes by themselves. You might feel very like isolated in some cases. You might feel as if you'll lose not only one particular relationship, but you might lose other relationships if you do walk away and you make this transformational journey on your own. But I think that's what serves you. I think that's what's serving you if you do that. Now, interestingly, you have the Ten of Swords as your outcome for August. Now, Ten of Swords is very daunting. It's very, oh no, it's overkill, right? 10 swords in the back. It's not a great card to see. And especially in the outcome, it's like, well, what happens if I do all of this? What happens, Jay? What can I expect? 10 of Swords? Yeah. But again, I think this is like very internal. And I think I said that here. And I think I just feel it overall. Internally, this is how you feel. It might not be your reality. This might just be your perception. And it's not to negate anything that I've said, because I think that the Ten of Swords is usually a card about betrayal. It's a card about people stabbing you in the back and leaving you for dead. And I'm not feeling that here. I feel like this is like how you will feel having gone through this big transformation. You're going to feel super let down. You're going to feel as if you've been destroyed. You're going to feel as if you've been betrayed. You're going to feel as if you've been abandoned. And that's an interesting thing. But Scorpio, I hate to say it, but like this is like all you. Like this is how you are, or not how you are, but it makes sense to me that if you walk away from someone or something, a situation, whatever, if you're the one who's actually leaving, you still feel betrayed. That's a weird thing to say, but it makes sense to me. I hope it makes sense to you, because I'm not super close with any Scorpios right now, but when I have been, it's been like, yeah, I see it. Like, you should leave that situation. But this is the feeling that you carry out with you. I feel betrayed. I feel stabbed in the back. I feel as if someone had abandoned me. I feel as if nobody cared about me at all the entire time. I feel as if people were out to hurt me, da-da-da-da-da. And I don't even view that as like victimizing yourself or playing the victim. Other people might be saying that to you. Why are you being so dramatic? You sound like you're, looking for sympathy and things like that. But it's just the way you process things, Scorpio, if I'm honest. This is just how I feel it. I feel like this is the only way that you would ever feel doing what you have to do to make these significant changes in your life, to move away from this feeling of dissatisfaction, this feeling of I have no luck, I have no chance of being happy, I have no chance of finding fulfillment, and then making a change. Okay, sorry about that, Scorpio. Again, I will do it, I promise I will get more memory for this camera. Alright, anyway. So yeah, I feel as if a lot of people might view you to be a victim, and this is your reading, right? I don't really feel much of other people's influence. This is really about your position, your perception, your belief, your feelings, right? So you feel this way, even though objectively it might not be that way. Objectively, from an outsider's perspective, you might not actually look like a victim. Like if you're saying to someone else, or you're showing to someone else, you know what, I didn't like talking to this person, or I didn't like dating these type of people, so I'm going to leave because it never works out in my favor. It never goes the way I want it to. They always treat me this way, blah, 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 blah. And you might be saying this to your best friend or, whatever. And to them, they're like, but you chose to date them. Like, they didn't come banging down your door. You're the one who swiped right. Like, you're the one that chose them. And you keep choosing the same type of guy. But some of the things you might be saying as you're discussing your dating life to other people sounds like, oh, you're making it sound like you had no choice, right? So there's a little bit of a hitch there in how other people may not recognize this in the way that you recognize it. They might not perceive it the way that you perceive it, Scorpio. And that's okay. Like I said, anything in tarot is mutable. Everything in tarot is fluctuates and it changes. So if that bothers you, like if you feel like, who do these people think they are? Or who does Jay think that she is, telling me that I'm playing the victim? That's just what the cards are saying. And this is just what the energy is. It's like, in your mind, some of you are feeling like you had no choice. You were abandoned. You were treated like crap. But that is sort of coming after you begin this transformation. So the sequencing is off, if anything. If I were to step out and not be your tarot reader for like 1 second, the sequencing is off, and it makes it a little strange from an outside perspective. Now going back into being your tarot reader, going back into someone who knows how Scorpios can be, it makes sense. Okay, so I hope I cleared that up for you. But your overall energy for the month. Why am I dropping everything? And now that's like completely underneath me. 1 second. Okay, Scorpio. So, your overall energy for the month of August is the Page of Wands. So, Page of Wands is an explorer, is someone who's interested in new things, is someone who's interested in new passions, new creative endeavors, new projects. In some senses, you might be interested in traveling. So, some of you just might need like a getaway to kind of clear your head about all of this. Or, refresh yourself, get back to being a little bit more stable. Because if I'm honest, there's a lot of disabled energy here. A little bit in the Ten of Swords as well. So that might be in the cards for you, no pun intended. But in general, Scorpio, I think like this is also in tandem with these two cards, the Eight of Cups and the Death card. The Page of Wands is here to help you. The rest of these cards aren't necessarily helpful. I think they're just kind of affirming or confirming some things about you, or some situations about you, some relationships that are in your life that are very poignant right now. But these three cards in tandem are the ones I think you should really kind of adhere to if you're looking for advice, if you're looking for what comes next or what can I do next. Because the Page of Wands wants to expand, wants to experience more, wants to find fulfillment, wants to be happier, wants to be more creative, all of that good stuff. But the problem with the pages is that they're all kind of naive, they're all apprentices, they're not masters of their suit, they're not masters on their journey, they're really just learning, they're really going out there and still figuring it out. And that kind of fits your whole theme, right? Like, you kind of don't, like I said earlier with the Wheel of Fortune, you haven't really processed your lessons, or you haven't really gone into the depths of your lessons and what it is you need to learn, what it is you need to transcend, to kind of move past, to move over, or completely obliterate from your life and kind of annex from your life and say, okay, I understand this now, let's move past. It's like things repeat, right? And that would be sort of echoed here a little bit in that the page will come into challenges a lot more readily than a knight would, and definitely more readily than a queen or a king would. But the ability with the pages is, I think they have a lot more optimism than a knight would. And they have more malleability to them. So as much as being green and much of a novice can be a hindrance, it can also benefit them. So, you know, be careful and discerning when you use or tap into the energy of the Page of Wands. He can be quite helpful, but, you know, don't rely on him too much, because, you know, he's only but so experienced in the journey of life, right? So Scorpio, that is your reading for August. I hope something resonated here for you. If it did, leave a comment below. I'd love to read about it. If you liked what you saw, you hit the like button, share and subscribe to the channel. That would be amazing. I'm trying to grow it. So I can only do that if you click the subscription button, or if you share the video with people that you think might get something from it and maybe they become subscribers, whatever you want to do. And I will be back in a few weeks' time, and I will do your September readings then. Thank you guys so much for watching. Take care.